Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to hop on and just walk through some quotes that I got from resale websites for this Goyard 6 Key Holder. But before I get started, I do want to say thank you to those of you who have subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. I put out a lot of videos about contemporary designer handbags like Coach, Michael Kors, Fossil, Longchamp, as well as some luxury items like Gucci, Burberry, and Goyard. And if you end up liking this video, please do give it a thumbs up down below. So this is a Goyard 6 Key Holder. I purchased it on Poshmark on August 1st of 2019 for $352. I had some Poshmark credits and a bunch of other stuff that brought the price down, kind of that I paid out of pocket, but I'm considering my purchase price here to be $352. And so for the purposes of getting quotes from these resale websites, that was kind of the magic number that I had in my head to try to get my money back. When I bought this item, it did come with, the box, the tags, the care guide, some of the other packaging, so I did have kind of the full set, and I think that's important to note when you're trying to get quotes from these resale websites, because obviously that does affect resale value to have the full set. When thinking about like what you might expect to get from this item, I think it's useful to know that this one retails for over $600, actually close to $700 in the boutique new. So I was kind of using that in my head as kind of a benchmark of where I might expect quotes to be based out of. I didn't fully expect to get $600 or $700 back, of course, because this item does have some noticeable wear and tear. I'll link a video where I discuss the wear and tear in more detail, but essentially there's some glazing issues and some wear on the leather on the inside. But I was kind of thinking of that like $600 to $700 number as something that would be like a reference price for these companies when they're thinking about buying out. And of course, I was also thinking about what I paid, which is $352, to try to think about getting as much as I could get back of that amount. Also, I should say the reason I was trying to get these quotes and the reason I was thinking about selling is because of the amount of wear and tear on the item. I thought that it is wearing pretty poorly for the price of the item. Not, the price I paid on Poshmark, but if you think about like the retail price of this item, from just a little over like a year and a half of use, I think it has some pretty significant wear. So I was basically trying to get my money back out of the item so that I could buy something maybe that's a little bit more durable and still kind of trying to get that money back while the item is in decent enough shape that I feel like I could sell it for like a more than $0 basically. So I think that's all the things that might affect like the resale value, and that's all the details that I think you need to know. So just starting off with the quotes that I got. So the first quote that I want to talk about is Fashionphile. I submitted a bunch of pictures to Fashionphile, and I should note, I guess one other thing that might affect resale value is I submitted a ton of pictures. I made sure I submitted the picture of like, the full set, of the tags, of, detailed pictures of the item, as well as the date code, as well as any condition details. So I wanted to make sure that they had like as accurate of information on the product as possible so that I could get as accurate of quotes as possible and make sure that I, if I did accept a quote, that's like the amount that I would get. Because of course, once they receive the item, they can always just reject it after the fact. If you send it to them and it's in, much different shape than they expected, they can reject it, and that's something I wanted to avoid. So after sending, probably 15 or 20 pictures to Fashionphile, it took them a couple weeks to get back to me, and the quote I got was $200 for this item, which I felt was really, really low. Like I said, this item retails for, close to $700, so that was a pretty low quote in my opinion. I also thought it was pretty low because right now, during the pandemic, Goyard doesn't do online sales, and there's only a few Goyard boutiques in the US or, even across the world. So in order to even get this item, at retail price, you would have to travel, or you would just have to kind of wait. I guess they do kind of like phone orders, but that's also a little bit, cumbersome, and I don't think a lot of people would do that. So I guess I expected to benefit from the pandemic. I expected to benefit from the difficulty of getting a Goyard item, but I guess I didn't, at least when it came to Fashionphile. The second quote that I got was from Yoogi's Closet. This one was a range of $210 to $225 for a buyout. And again, this felt low to me given that like the benchmark in my head was $352. From Rebag, I got a quote of $250 in cash, or they offered $300 in store credit. And this was the initial quote I got. But then their business development people kind of reached out to me and asked, like, hey, why haven't you accepted the quote? And I was like, well, I mean, $250 is pretty low to me. And so they upped the amount by $15, which honestly, I would have rather they just not upped it at all, because that was kind of a joke, in my opinion. So the kind of final quote that I got from Rebag was $265 in cash or $320 in store credit. The store credit offers never really tempted me, because I feel like, you know, store credit doesn't have any value in some sense. It's like you kind of are tied to Rebag's inventory, and Rebag's inventory tends to be very expensive, and I was looking at, you know, their site, and it doesn't have a bunch of stuff that I would want, so that was just never even an option to me. I wanted the cash out of this if I were to sell. So, you know, Rebag did have ultimately the highest offer, just so you know, but it was still, you know, $265 is still basically $100 less than what I paid for it. The last place that I tried to get a quote from was Bag Borrow Steal, which I was just like Googling random places that I could get a quote from, so this is just another one that popped up. And this company actually declined to purchase this item, probably because of the condition, because of the glazing issues. I'm sure that some companies feel like they can't offload that kind of item to customers if it does have significant wear. Some people's quality or wear and tear standards are higher than other companies. So ultimately, the quotes that I got were too low to really convince me to sell. I'm just going to keep this item. I think my new kind of strategy is that I'm going to use this a lot less. I actually moved my house key from in here to my key pouch that holds my car keys, my Gucci key pouch. So I use this a lot less. I don't open it every single day. I don't add to that wear and tear. So it's just kind of an organizer that sits in my bag that at this point hardly gets used. But I feel like that's a better solution than selling for kind of a huge loss and buying a new one. And I didn't really want to sell for the prices that I got. Ultimately, I was really tempted by Rebag's offer, I should say, because like I said, I did want the cash that I paid back. But I chose not to accept Rebag's offer for a couple of reasons. One is they can lower the offer once they receive the item. So I have this pretty substantial wear on the glazing. So I figured once they got the item and saw that, they would lower their offer. And then actually if they do lower their offer and you don't want to accept the lower offer, they will send it back to you for free. But if they do reject the item, they get it and they realize it's so bad that they would not even buy it, you have to pay them $10 to send it back to you. I got the business development person to kind of vouch to waive that fee if they did deny it, but I was kind of this seems kind of risky. And then of course you're sending a really high value item in the mail, which is super risky given the state of the world right now, so I just didn't feel like it was worth it. The other thing is that, like I said, I basically figured out a way to use this less and to add less wear and tear to it by moving my key to my key pouch to kind of reduce the wear and tear. Ultimately, though, as much as it was kind of sad to realize that I would not get the amount that I paid back for this, I thought it was great to do because I basically got this item authenticated by 3 separate companies for free, which I didn't really realize until I kind of got the quotes back and everything. I realized, actually nobody denied it because it was fake, and I haven't, to be honest, haven't gotten this authenticated even though I bought it at Poshmark. I thought it was authentic. I looked up a lot of information on the purse forum and online to see if it was authentic, but this was kind of a great way to kind of skirt around that and get a free authentication. I mean, I think that is ultimately my story. I'm not going to sell this. The highest quote that I got was $265, which is kind of too low for me to justify selling, but I am going to kind of switch around the way that I use it to reduce the wear and tear. So thanks guys for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, and I will see you next time. Bye!